Hey there! You know what? We've been talking a lot about musical resources in our community. And when I think about resources, remember, I think about things, people, and places we go to get what we need to meet our need for music. You know what I need? I need guitars. And when I think about music stores, I think about guitars. I love guitars. There are many different kinds of guitars in this music store, and we're going to learn a little bit about them now. Come on in. Rich, these look like awesome, beautiful guitars.
Well, thank you.
What different kinds of guitars are there? I mean, does each color mean something different, or shape, or?
Well, Mike, actually, it's if you look at the shape and the type of strings on it, a lot of times that's where you find the type of guitar you have. For instance, our traditional acoustic guitar that everyone knows about is the Dreadnought steel string guitar. That's just your typical acoustic guitar. They have steel strings, meaning they're metal. All of them are metal.
Doesn't that hurt your fingers?
They are a little more difficult to play at first because you have to have the hand strength and you have to build up calluses and make your tips of your fingers strong and tough so that you can push them down.
That doesn't take too long, does it?
No, a couple weeks of steady practicing, you'll get there.
All right.
On the opposite end, with the acoustic type guitars, is something like this. This is a classical guitar. This has nylon strings. So you see it has the 3 clear strings, and then these silver strings. Now, they still call it nylon because the center of it is actually silk. So it's metal, but it's wrapped around silk. So they're actually really soft strings, and they sound much softer.
Can you play a couple of strings for me, or play a note or two? Oh, okay, all right. That has kind of a soft sound, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a much softer sound than,
and how's
than the steel
how's
string.
that different than a steel string? Can we hear what a steel string sounds like? Yeah, that's what I play.
See, it's the same tension on that. I'm not pushing any harder, but the strings are just louder. And
Louder.
the box is bigger.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So we have a bigger box, louder strings.
Now, how about that one? That one right there, up there, of course.
The crowd favorite,
Is it?
the electric guitar.
Yeah.
Now, you can't hear it because it's meant to be plugged into a big speaker, and that makes it as loud as you want.
I see.
Lucky for parents, most amplifiers have a headphone jack, so they don't have to hear it.
Oh, so you can plug your headphones in it
Oh yeah,
and listen to it in your headphones.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
wow, that's kind of neat.
now
Uh-huh.
let me back up to the guitar that we heard that was a little out of tune,
Yeah.
and I can explain how that works. So, when I played this, I made a little face because it was a little out of tune. We changed these knobs here. These are the tuning machines.
Uh-huh. Oh, I see.
So, by
I see.
that
So,
doesn't sound right.
so Rich, so what we're doing is we're changing the pitch, right?
Exactly.
Right. So one direction makes the pitch go a little bit higher, and then we turn in the other direction, the pitch goes a little bit lower.
Right.
Some of our second graders, we've been talking about the difference between the highness and lowness of pitch.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
So that's awesome. Yeah. That's where now we'll go and it's in tune again.
oh, okay, I see. So sometimes you gotta just adjust it a little bit.
Yeah. It takes a little adjustment, and then you have on the bottom you have a bridge where the strings go across.
A
and the
bridge.
top-
You
Yep.
said a bridge. Like
Yep, the
it
bridge.
kind of does look like a bridge.
Yeah, it's a
doesn't
little
it?
bridge for the strings to go over, and then at the top is what's called a nut, and that's the other end of it. And so
Uh-huh.
your strings are actually here in this area.
Oh, I see. I see little slots in there.
Mhm.
Little slots up here that
Yep, a little slot. If you look carefully, there's a little slot here where they go through the bottom also.
I see.
And to change pitch, all you do is push down at these metal bars called frets.
Okay. Okay. That's it. All right. So, what kind of guitars would you say are best for song leading? If you're going to lead a bunch of people around a campfire or something like that?
Well, if you're going to be out in a campfire situation where there's no electricity, the steel string is great. It's loud, it projects, you can play all the chords and lead a group. If you're going to be in a more of a rock and roll or country western band, then you might lead with something like an electric guitar, because then you can play melody lines that everyone will hear, and it's meant to be played more with a group than of other instruments.
Now you need another accessory, which we're going to talk about in
Yes.
just in a little bit when we talk about accessories.
Right.
Here. Fantastic. Now this is really, really interesting. It looks like a playing card.
Correct. This is actually a manufactured version of something called a cigar box guitar.
It kind of does look like
yeah.
a cigar box.
In
kinda.
the old days, when you couldn't buy a guitar, and cigar boxes were actually made of wood, they would take a cigar box and run a piece of wood through it and put a fretboard on the piece of wood and attach it. It's a very simple setup with how they have it set, and they'd make a cigar box guitar, literally.
Now this one's a little bit different. This one only has 4 strings.
Correct. The cigar box guitar is 4 strings.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the top 4 strings or bottom 4 strings of the electric guitar, of the acoustic guitar. These 4 strings from here are these 4 strings here. So when I play this here, you have it. It kind of sounds like a banjo guitar.
It does sound kind of like a banjo guitar, doesn't it? Well, that's fantastic.
So yeah, they're very fun. They're a very cool little instrument.
Hey, Rich, would you talk to us just a little bit about accessories and some accessories you might need if you're going to buy a guitar?
Of course, of course.
So, of course, we've already talked about accessories that you need with instruments. You know that guitars have their own accessories that you're going to need to consider when you're looking to buy one. So, Rich and Dan, what sort of things do you need to consider, like in the way of accessories, when you're looking at perhaps getting a guitar for yourself?
Well, depending on the type of guitar, Mike, you need to, if it's an acoustic guitar or electric, you would need to think about a strap, a tuner, something, a nice strap for your guitar, a tuner so you can keep it in tune. All instruments need a tuner.
Right. So that tells you how to turn the knobs.
Yeah, it corrects the
how
pitch.
far to turn the knobs that you were doing earlier.
If you remember earlier when I was tuning the guitar up,
Yeah.
if I had a tuner attached to that, then we'd have it precise and make it all perfect.
Oh.
What I was doing is just making it equal across, as opposed to if I was going to play with another band,
Yeah.
we'd all want to agree on what that pitch was. So
Oh.
we'd want to use a tuner to make it match up right.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
What other things you need?
So you can always use picks. The guitar pick always comes in handy.
Picky, picky, picky.
That's right. There's all kinds of thicknesses on your picks too. So you can go with a thick pick, a thin pick, a middle pick.
What's the difference between picks?
It's the attack pattern. The attack sound is different depending on the thickness of the pick.
Does that mean like loudness or something?
Yeah, it's that first pop. So you get a little more metallic sound to it or not, depending, and it depends on what the material is too.
Oh, okay.
Different materials give it a different sound.
So you might want to try out a couple of different picks before you
Sure,
make your own pick.
Exactly. Take your pick of picks. This is true.
Very, very good.
And then of course you need to clean the guitar, so some kind of polish, a cloth. With the electric guitars, you're looking at maybe an amplifier and a cable, and those types of things. I have a little cable, red, blue, green, purple if you like. Just trying to make it fun and interesting. And then of course a case or a bag to protect the guitar when you're not playing it, because it's very important to protect your instrument.
That sounds great. Well, Rich, thank you so much for just sharing. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
You have a person, I've noticed he's not here today, that works on guitars, right?
Oh yes, we actually have a luthier. What a luthier is, he's a person who's actually gone to school and studied how to build and repair guitars. And our luthier can actually custom build your guitar if you like, or repair anything that's wrong with it.
Oh, okay. That's great.
Oh, and also, of course, you need strings. So we have a wide variety of strings too that you pick.
Wow.
Different thicknesses, different what's called gauges is the different thickness of the string, and what they make them of too. It makes them sound different. Phosphor, bronze, all these different materials make it sound different.
So the type of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
We even have, like I said, the nylon strings. There's black, there's clear nylon strings, there's gold strings, there's silver strings. There's a lot of different types of strings that give you a different sound.
Wow, that's really neat. So strings make a difference, don't
Yes.
they?
Yes, they do. And new strings make a difference too. Old strings don't sound as good as new strings.
All right, that's good to know. Thank you so much for
My
sharing
pleasure.
with us about the guitars.